welcome to MoveCo Live. I am here with a very good friend of ours and a community leader in the city of Ottawa. Her name is Julie Louchet. Julie, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Samantha. It's so nice to see you.
It's so nice to see you. We've crossed paths in many different journeys and moments in our life, and here we are together at home. And we were just talking about offline how grateful we are for this time and this pause and this quiet. And I know that what we're going to talk about today is really going to, just help people add that extra item in their basket to just, embrace what's going on right now. What do you think?
Yeah. Sorry, there's so much I want to say, so I'm
No, exactly. So wait, exactly. So let me just dive right in to who is Julie. And I just want to say a big thank you to the Green Beaver Company for partnering with us and powering up today's show. If you don't know who the Green Beaver Company is, it's an amazing Canadian company out of Hawkesbury, and they provide organic products for us that are good for our bodies. So right now, it's all about sunshine. So if you don't have a sunscreen you're using right now, definitely the Green Beaver can help you with that. Head over to movecamp.ca. You'll get a $10 gift card and 25% off. So check that out after the show. And I want to tell you today, it's all about, we're speaking about our energy, and Julie is awesome. She is a well-being and energy expert and helps high achievers, leaders, and employees at all levels to bring the best version of themselves in their professional and personal lives. In the corporate world, she works with organizational leaders and HR to activate a well-being and resilient culture in the workplace. She's a certified personal coach, well-being expert, change practitioner, and a professional speaker. So today we're talking about how to activate our superhuman powers naturally during these stressful times. So what a timely topic, Julie. And let's just get right into it. What do you mean by activating your superhuman powers naturally?
Yeah, it's interesting because I've always been like, do I use the word superhuman? Because it sounds so unachievable, but I'm not saying like superhero, just superhuman. So there are things that we do or do not do that actually deplete our energy. So what I want to share today and what I've been focusing so much, in organizations or even with my one-on-one clients is like, there are certain things, habits or way of thinking that actually help us tap into that superhuman part of us. And we want to be in our superhuman powers, especially when there's just, if we talk about the times that we're facing right now, like so many unknowns, so many things that we need to adapt to, so many stressors. And there are things that we can just do naturally. A bit of effort, of course, but there are things that we don't need to over exaggerate to be like, to tap into that superhuman, or let's say a better version of ourselves. Really, I want to just leave it as simple as that, is that, there are moments where when chaos does happen in our life, we're not really our best selves. And so it's just scaling back and coming back and really being aware of how we are responding to life, and then things that we can do to actually tap into that better version of ourselves, for ourselves and for everybody around us.
Absolutely. So what would you say is that one thing that people can use as a starting point to talk about this?
Yeah, it's interesting. There are so many things you can do, but I think the biggest one is mindset. And when I think about, some of the workshops I've done in the past, or even like so lately, actually, I have to share with you a book. And this is a book that's existed forever, right? The Seven Habits of Highly Effective People from Stephen Covey. And as I was doing my workshop and I'm reading his book, I'm like, oh my God, his habit number one is exactly what I've been preaching all this time. And it's, how do you choose to respond in life? Do you want to react to life, or do you want to be proactive with life? And so that number one thing is really looking back at, how do you respond to life? I mean, we're human beings, right? I mean, if something bad happens, obviously we're going to have an emotional reaction of like, I don't like this. This is painful. This is stressful. I don't know what to do. But to be quick enough to kind of see, okay, how am I responding? And a proactive person knows that we are responsible for the results in our lives. You know, we can't control our lives, but we certainly can control our behavior. We can see that we choose happiness. We choose being angry. We choose, being super stressed and stuck in our heads, but again, it requires that step back of observing ourselves without judgment and kind of going, okay, I do want to be proactive. I am responsible for my life. And when you're in that mindset, when you start really getting into, I'm responsible for this, I'm responsible for everything that's around me, that is like, that's that one thing that's just heading you in the right direction.
I love that you brought up Stephen Covey's book in this time, because we're realizing that a lot of the tools we've always had, and it's just a reminder. And in this moment of just like a lot of stillness, we're not, jumping in the car and going all these places anymore. It just gives us these moments to realize, like, this toolkit, like these superhumans, like they don't even cost any money. Like this is just like, take a moment to like listen to yourself and just pay attention. And that's what I love about your message right now. Like it's actually so simple, but yet it takes a moment to kind of process, and it's a daily practice for everything that comes
It
across
is.
the plates.
Yeah. And I think that what you just said right there, it's a daily practice. And sometimes we give up too quickly because that it requires effort. It requires, self-responsibility, some words that we don't always want to, have to access. But in these times, it is important to really observe and, make that extra effort and remind yourself on a daily basis that you have a choice.
Exactly. We all have a choice. And I love that. Like you really even just the posture of what you're saying, like it just like it rises me up. It makes me feel really good. So I want to talk about this boost in energy, because just talking to you right now, like I'm feeling it like right now. And I hope that the listeners can too. So I've heard you focus on human elements to get a boost in energy. Like, can you elaborate on that? What does that mean?
Yeah, so I'll keep it really simple. First of all, every human being on this planet has access to 4 human elements to, I guess, give yourself a boost in energy or to tap into those superhuman powers. And so if we look at how we respond to life, the areas where we have control of ourselves is physically. That's a human element. So there are things that we can do physically that's going to give us an abundance of energy, right? Eating right, hydration, movement, exercise, resting, sleeping, renewal. I mean, these are all things that if we focus on our physical element, will give us that abundance of energy. And we all know that if we take care of ourselves physically, it's going to affect the other elements, which are an emotional element. There's an emotional part to every human being. So we need to start observing what I guess the quality of life that we have, and what kind of emotions do we touch on a daily basis. Is it more negative or is it more positive? Because if it's more positive, then it's uplifting. We're more apt to finding solutions, and we perform better at work. We're more patient, and so on. And if it's negative, we all know that that's draining, and that's where we get stuck in fear, and we don't really move forward. The third element is the mental element. So we have like this capacity to really be present, to focus, to actually yield a lot of awesome results. Yet, if we let all these distractions, right, left and center, pull us away from that present moment or pull us away from what's really important to us, that also will drain energy. It actually doesn't, it affects our performance, our productivity, our efficiency, and it really puts a lot of stress on our nervous system, believe it or not, right? Just being distracted and all over the place. And the fourth human element, I mean, they're all super important, but the fourth one is really who we are at our core. So I call it the core element. Who are you as an individual person? Knowing your personality, making decisions based on your values, on what's important to you, and also just naturally nurturing this core element by being there for others. And I'm not saying that being there for others because you feel guilty or being there for others because you feel you have to. No, being there legitimately and authentically, and just being there and contributing to others, because we all know when we help someone else, like there's no other like I think, greater feeling of satisfaction and peace within and so on than actually naturally and lovingly helping another individual. So when we focus on those four elements, physical, emotional, mental, and core, and like really tap into better habits or different ways of thinking, like we really have this opportunity to really be that better version of ourselves.
I love that so much. And the thing that's ringing in my head right now is I think before all of this pandemic is we always went to the outside to like collect things to make us feel better about our elements. And I think given this time at home, like we've been forced to kind of like look within, or I hope people have really taken, for me, it's realized that like it's not about consumerism that's going to, you know what I mean? I don't need that next gym outfit to work out right now. I don't need to go to the store every day to buy like this thing. Like, you know, like there's so much of a gift right now to just like work with what you have and like actually like shine up like what we already have. And that's like within us. Like all of these four elements are like within us lies the power of all of this. But now I hope that everyone's taking this moment to look within and work on this stuff because it's always been there. And I'm glad that you're talking to us about it, but I really think it's so timely in this time. Like, would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what, just on what you're saying, as I delivered quite a few webinars in the last month on resilience and well-being and so on. And I polled the people that are actually participating in the webinar. I'm like, so which of the elements have you been paying more attention to during this whole COVID pandemic? And the answer is always the same and is completely opposite than pre-COVID.
Okay, what
So
is it?
you want to take a guess of what people are focusing on? Which one of the elements are focusing on the most?
Because I'm like, I need to work on all four of them. So no, tell
I
me.
know. I'll tell you, it's the core element. For the first time,
Okay.
like in all the years that I've been doing this, people are stepping back and actually self-observing, reevaluating, changing, investing in what's important to them, realizing what's more important to them, right? I don't need the next gym outfit. I'm totally fine with what I already have. And so people are really, I guess we've all been somewhat pushed or forced to go back inside and really look at how we've been living life and kind of going, is this how I want to keep living life? Like we all have this opportunity to press this big reset button and really change our way of living, of being, if you know we didn't really like where we were before, or there was some discomfort there, but we were just too busy to pay attention to it.
Well, that's it. I think we're just too busy to pay attention. As someone who takes the time to reflect on all of this, like it could have never have been so powerful than in this time because it's like it was a force because you can do it within yourself, but then you feel the pressure of the environment and the flow still going around you. But to know that everything kind of went at a halt together, I really think gave people permission to focus on these elements. And you know, with all like there's so many positives that have come out of this space for some, but of course there's also a lot of new feelings and anxiety that has probably come up for many of us. No matter how, you know, we practice our gratitudes, there's going to be that anxiety that triggers us here and there. And there's been lots of recent events that would cause that too. So what would you say are your top 2 to 3 pieces of advice to reduce this fear
Wow.
of the unknown and how things are changing so much?
Yeah, I would say, as silly, as simple as this may sound, slow down and breathe. Like we are still stuck in the societal pressure of like, oh, things are opening up again. Oh, when do I need to go back? And oh, how is it going to be? Like we we react, right? I love bringing back to the fact that again, we always have that choice, right? Life is going to happen to us no matter what. And there's always going to be challenges. There's always going to be some moments where you're going to feel so squished and squeezed and thinking you can't go anywhere. But again, it's choosing that proactive approach, right? But the slowing down and breathing and just reconnecting with yourself, reconnecting to what's important, because we cannot make good decisions. We cannot take care of ourselves when we're rushing and doing the shallow breathing and we're living up here. when we're like in anxiety and fear. So if you are in fear and anxiety, like please invest in either meditation, breathing exercises. Um, they are so simple and yet so effective to really ground you. And then from there, really making the decisions that are right for you, for your family, and so on. So that was a long one, but breathe, meditate, all that stuff. I would say that number two would be, it kind of goes along with the breathing. It'd be like, be mindful. Like if you're anxious, just step back and kind of go, what's going on in my head? Like, am I overthinking? Am I overanalyzing, over worrying? Because that in itself pulls you away from the present moment. And, you know, I have this picture that I show in my workshops where there's a little square that says thoughts with an arrow that goes to another square that says emotions with another arrow that goes actions or inactions. So a lot of times we don't know that our emotional state, how we feel, the fear and all that stuff actually comes from our own thoughts. So be present. Like if you're outside taking a walk, don't think about, well, how am I going to get back to work? And like, oh, how am I going to see, you know, my family? And like, no, be outside, be with the trees, be with the grass, be with the air, be with nature. So do anything and everything to just, you know, be present and mindful as much as possible. So, but that requires you to kind of observe what's going on in there. Do I have time for a third one?
Yeah, please.
2 to 3, right? I would say at this point, be kind.
Mm-hmm.
And not just kind with other people, be kind to yourself. And I'm gonna like be kind and avoid judgment at all cost. So don't judge yourself for not having done something or for having done something. Like just be more kind and non-judgmental towards yourself, because this is new for everybody. And we are all being pushed to change, you know, to evolve, to grow. And during that process, we cannot expect ourselves to just kind of know automatically what to do. So be kind, observe yourself. If you've noticed you've been doing something that really is not good for you or for others, kind of go, wow, thank goodness I know. Now I'll do different. So,
Exactly. I love that. And I'd love to know, like, how have you taken your own advice in all of this when it comes to mindset and being kind to yourself? So, like, in this whole conversation about Black Lives Matter and all the discourse we're having right now about anti-racism.
yeah, it's interesting because, you know, what I'm facing with my clients right now is the judgment of others okay from going to back to work, or judgment of you're being scared, why aren't you going back to work? Oh, judgment, you're wearing a mask. Oh, judgment, you're not wearing a mask. Like, we really need to step back and first of all look at ourselves as human beings, normal to have different reactions. We are all different. We have such a diverse background and life experiences. Who are we to judge, you know, other individuals that what they're doing is actually wrong? I mean, yes, judge in a judicial system, that is, thank goodness, there. But other than that, I mean, you know, we need to really just step back and go back to kindness, go back to love, going back to compassion and understanding. And I mean, it's just going back to roots of respecting one another. And oh my God, I could just get into like civility and respect, you know, like I think, you know, the pressures of society and the stresses that are in people's lives are really sometimes, you know, change us. It changes us as a person. Because I think at our core, we're all love. We're all kind. We all want to get along. I doubt someone wakes up and says, you know, I want to destroy someone's life today. We're not wired that way.
Yeah, it's true. We're not wired that way. And, you know, there's a lot of hope for for the future and organizations and people. And you know, it's funny. I'm listening to you talk, and it's just like, wow, is it oversimple or is it just the truth? You know, and it is the truth. It is simple if we could practice it. I see little things like just walking down the street the last few days, like a little bit more eye contact and smiling. And I'm like, you know what? Like that's a big step of like kindness and understanding of like, I see you. Whereas a week ago, people weren't looking in each other's eyes, right? So we can see how it's not this big monumental thing to be a leader and kind in your space. Like you can do it on so many levels, and it's actually the little things that will make the most difference, because if you do like a whole bunch of little things, like that's what's going to make that peace and harmony within our communities, within our organizations, like really, really work.
It has really has a trickle effect. It's incredible. Just a smile
Yeah,
is
exactly.
huge.
Exactly. So, as we move out of this pandemic space and we have new social justice issues rising within organizations and people, like where are you moving towards next? What topics do you see yourself delivering in the next little while to organizations to
Yeah.
help?
Sorry.
Please.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, well-being and resilience are just so tied together. Like for me, like it's take care of yourself. You're going to be more resilient by doing so, and you're going to be more productive. So that's a win for yourself, a win for your organization, a win for the clients served by that organization. Like to me, is my main focus. Working remotely, managing remotely, because that's the new reality. Some organizations were totally ready for it, some half, some not. So I'd love to support those that are still struggling in those areas. And I really had such a great opportunity. I still do have this opportunity to deliver civility and respect workshops to the Government of Canada employees for a specific branch. And I think it's so timely with everything that's going on, and the number one reason why people are uncivil or disrespectful is like they're overwhelmed. We're too busy. We're like, so it's coming back again to basics. Like, don't go from one meeting to another nonstop. That's not doable. No wonder you're going to you're going to be impatient, so I think those 3 to 4 topics is what I'm going to still focus on, and just be there to make our workplaces healthier and better so that everybody can benefit, really.
Well, that's it. Because if you feel that in your workplace, you're going to come home to your families and your home dwelling and just, be a different person. Like it's so important. And like, so I hope, please keep trailblazing in this area. We need you. So it's Julie Richer, activating your superhuman powers naturally during these stressful times. Thank you so much, Julie. You've reminded me so much of what I already have within me for my toolkit to just live a more resilient life and to be able to, just carry on in this space and really be grateful of having information like this, sharing this stuff. If you want to continue to hear more from Julie Richer, her organization is called Peak Energy Management, peakenergymanagement.com, and you can find her on Facebook and Instagram. And thank you so much, Julie. Thank you to the Green Beaver Company for powering up this amazing MoveCo Live episode. And looking forward to following your journey, Julie, and keep spreading that kindness and, simple messages, but super powerful. So super grateful for you and your time today.
Super grateful for you too, Samantha. Look at what you're doing. You're bringing, thought leaders together. So you too, power and resilience to you. Thank you so much for this great opportunity, and let's keep on trucking.
Keep on trucking. Take care, Julie. Thank you so much.